hitting and linger. Jermaine Griffin says, well, if Kobe can't do it, maybe it's my turn to take over. I'm the second leading scorer on this team.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in on this special day, this Friday. Today, you're here with Mel from Queen Sports Talk, WGJS Radio, and we have a special show today. We have a panel today. We're going to be talking about women inside professional sports. That's women inside professional sports. We have a great panel, and I'm excited for today. We want you to kind of engage. We want you to leave some comments in the comment section. If you have questions, just stay engaged. Our number is 347-410-8077. That's 347-410-8077. So definitely give us a call in. And I'm excited for our panel that we have. So let's go ahead and kick things off and get it started. So first, I would like to introduce the founders of Women Inside Professional Sports. I would like to introduce Gisette English and also Ajay English. All right. And I would like you to kind of just give us the backstory of women inside professional sports. Let us know why that's important, how it got started, the founders, the books. And also I want to talk about this annual, Synergy Conference, what's that all about. So I'm going to give you guys the floor and just say your name and let us know who's on the panel as well.
Sure. So we're very excited to speak with you today. I guess I could start by introducing everyone, and then I can give you the backstory on our organization. It's kind of like when people ask you on a first day, tell me about yourself, and it's like, where do I begin? It's so much.
Right.
So we have Miss Marcia Dyson on the call with us today. We have Miss Jumana, and then we have Miss Cynthia down in the corner from Jonas.
Okay. All right, glad to have you.
So, again, we're very excited to be here today. My mother and I began Speak English Vibes as a sports communications group 10 years ago this October. And we came up with the name Speak English Vibe because Speak was for women inside professional sports to have the opportunity to kind of speak their truth and speak about what they're doing in their community. English is our last name. And then 5 was like a number that my brothers who played basketball my entire life, it was the number that they always selected. And my father played in the NBA, and he played overseas for over 15 years or so. And so we had a connection to men and women inside professional sports, and we felt that there was a need. So for women inside professional sports, we believed that they were not necessarily silenced, but they had a story to tell, and that people needed to hear that. So we started off as a sports communications group 10 years ago, and we allowed women inside professional sports, whether it be the athlete, the mother, the attorney, the agent, the opportunity to be able to share their story on our platform, and we shared their story with as many people as we could. And then over time, we collected all of those different stories that we had the opportunity to receive, and we created a book called Whips Unscripted that can be purchased on Amazon and at Barnes & Noble. And we had the opportunity to collect all of those.
Hello.
Oh,
Yes.
sorry.
Hello.
Hello?
Mel from Queens. Caller.
Hi, this is our.
All right, caller. I'm gonna put you on hold for let's let Ajay finish, okay? And I get right to you. Okay.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you. All right. Sorry.
That's
All right.
okay.
That's great.
So we
Callers.
right.
I know, right? Look, they ready to go. They ready.
So we had the opportunity to collect those stories and create a book called Whips Unscripted, with all those women inside professional sports that we had the opportunities to connect with, to create a sisterhood and bond with, that have become lifelong friends. And then I guess fast forward 10 years later, after so many opportunities to reach different communities, to mentor boys and girls across the world, we have partnered with some of these tremendous women that we have, some powerhouses, to be able to put together our 10th anniversary, our celebration, Diamonds in Sports, that will be taking place October 27th to the 29th, where we will be not just hosting people inside of professional sports, but also our supporters. We will be having community service where we will be mentoring over 100 Black girls in New York City. We will be what else? It's so much going on that weekend that I'm so excited that I can't think of everything. The next day we'll be having our cocktail reception, where cocktail reception will be first, and then it's going to be community service. We're going to have a wellness event where we have a ton of fundraisers going on that weekend, and we are super excited to meet in person and finally get the opportunity to celebrate our 10 years of reaching our communities.
And that's excellent. I mean, it's good, hearing that, and I'm glad that our listeners and our viewers get a chance to hear from you and get a chance to kind of get more understanding of that, because I feel like that's very important. And when I started Mel from Queens Sports Talk, my thing was I really wanted to involve the community. I wanted the community to know what's going on, because outside of sports, just the physical part of playing the sport. There's so much that go on. There's so much that can be done. And a lot of times, like, the view is just that either you're playing the sport or you're not, and everything else get left out. And not only that, not only does that get left out, but a lot of times you touched on a couple topics. You talked about not only the athlete, but the mom. A lot of times, like, people don't understand, like, the work that a mom have to put in just to, whether she's married to a professional sports player or they're a sports player themselves, and they're trying to balance family life and their sports and everything else that goes on. So I definitely want to hear a lot from that. Also, the women inside professional sports, I believe there are untold stories as well that need to be heard. I have a daughter. I have actually two daughters, but I have one right now that's playing volleyball, and I'm going to show this to her because I want her to watch it. I want her to stay engaged. I want her to know, what's going on. And with that being said, Ajay, you and your mom, you started this, right?
For sure.
And
Yes.
so how did talk to me first about that partnership, because sometimes in sports and anything, it's hard for family to work together,
Mhm.
mom, daughter, like how do you two put this together, make it happen and work together? I'm gonna keep it real,
Yeah. So one thing that I will say about my mother and I is that we have not that there's ever a mother daughter relationship that isn't special, because I believe that they all have the potential to be, and they all can be.
Hmm.
One thing that I will say about our relationship is that it's special to us, and we. So my mom had me, I guess, mm, 19 going on 20. So we kind of developed like this really strong friendship, where we like to be around each other.
Right, right.
We enjoy each other's company. Again, my father played professional basketball, and when he went overseas, we went overseas as a family. So we would be in different countries where maybe we were the only people that looked like we did. We were the only people that maybe spoke English, and so we had the opportunity to bond significantly, if you will. And one thing about the dynamic of our family is that my mother and I kind of shared a similar experience as the supporters of the athletes. So we felt like we had a role in as their supporters, but our light may have been dimmed a little bit, and we had stories to tell. Like my mother has over, I want to say, 10 years of experience in philanthropy and giving back to the community. So that was something that I got to experience as at a young age, and something she instilled in us, the importance of community and the importance of giving back. And
Hmm.
so we that was something that my brothers and I always had to do. And so we took that and our love for giving back and our love for reaching the community, and we're like, okay, well, this is how we feel about our own experiences, and this is how we feel about having lived in these different countries, and this is how we feel about the potential reach that we have, because our organization is not just basketball.
That's
It's
right.
tennis, it's boxing, it's football, it's baseball. So we didn't want to limit the sisterhood that we could have potentially created with other women or other people to just one sport. So that's what's significant about our organization. But my mother and I would consider us to be pretty much best friends. And I don't know if that happened, that was like by happenstance, or if it's because of, like us being in these different countries and us being isolated, if you will, and then us having the opportunity to just bond and have new experiences together for the first time. And so that over time, we've just built a very strong bond. And so it almost made sense for us to then create this organization and for us to do it together, because it's like, okay, we're best friends, we work well together, we do pretty much everything together. um, let's put this organization together, and let's help as many and reach as many women that have similar experiences as we can. Let's see how many mother-daughter duos we can connect with. Let's see how many families we can reach. Let's see how many people we could connect with resources inside professional sports that they're looking for. So our thing we started off with Miss Marcia 10 years ago. We started off in Washington, D.C. doing an annual conference. And we started off calling it the Synergy Conference. And the reason that we called it the Synergy Conference is because we had the opportunity to synergize with other men and women inside professional sports, other businesses, other organizations that were looking to support our mission and support our goal. And we synergized. So, like I said, my mother and I, it just made sense for us to do it. And we know that we have each other's backs no matter what. And so it's just like, okay, what do we have to do? Take on 5 roles apiece in this organization to get it off the ground. That's what we're going to do. And then one thing that I will say that Miss Marcia said to us in the beginning was, it doesn't matter how many people you have in the room, it matters who's in the room. And so that's what we took, and that's what we started with, and that's what is a part of our foundation.
And that's excellent. That's great. And so as we transition, because I'm gonna have a question for as we transition, because I want to hear from also Marcia and Jumana as well. So with this, what was the process of determining who were or to say annually, the women that you highlight to kind of be a part of this? The Synergy Conference. We have a panel, and you're gonna highlight a couple women, their role and their professional sports and what they're doing for the community. All around the world. So how did you come up with the list of saying, what, these are the females that these are the women that we want to highlight, and then from there I want you to introduce Jumana and Marcia, so I can kind of get we can let our audience hear from them as well.
Sure. So we selected these women. I guess we started with my mother a few years ago was a part of the Behind the Bench National Basketball Wives Association. So we started off with the people that we knew. We started off with the relationships that my mother built, essentially. And then we decided that we were going to reach as many women in different sports as we could. And so with each woman that we knew, we had them connect us with another. And so that's how we were able to synergize and connect the dots and reach as many women as we could. So essentially, each year that we have an event, we try to pick powerhouses from different sports, not just from one sport, across all sports. And then we try to then focus on those that are doing major things in their community that people don't know about, but that are also linked to sports and that also have the opportunity to be able to be linked to sports. And so that's how we select the women. We like we said, we built sisterhoods with many different women, and so we have trusted relationships. And they might come to us and say, I have this person, what's the goal for this year? I have like 5 people that I think would be, perfect for what you're doing. And then that's how we select. And so we trust those women that we allow to come in and be a part of our sisterhood, and we take their word for it. And then we connect the dots from there. So each year it could be 10 or 15 different women.
Awesome.
And so we try not to exclude anyone.
Awesome, excellent. All right. So let's go around. Jumana, just tell us a little bit, about yourself a little bit. I can get into it, but I'd rather, you have the floor, and we go from Marcia. We go to you next. All right.
Okay, yeah. So my name is Jumana Kidd, and I was part of Behind the Bench also back 100 years ago when so when I was married to Jason, and it was great. You know, we raised money, we did a lot of different things for the community. So when I actually later on connected with Marcia and Ajay, I was so impressed with what they took from, you know, the stage that we have, the opportunities, the reach that we have, and what they kind of wanted to do with that. And so it was like impossible not to be involved and, you know, jump on board. And when they asked me to be a co-chair for this 10-year anniversary, I was so honored. I was completely honored. And actually, it was a little bit of a pressure because Gisette had asked me to pick to help pick the women that we were going to honor. And when I think of, you know, women that have made an impact in professional sports, whether it is like on the field, on the court, or behind the scenes. It was crazy how many. Like it was at
Right.
first I went from, oh my gosh, how do I do that, to, oh, I'm overwhelmed. There's really a lot of women who have a lot to say, and a lot, you know, a big just stamp that they've put on the society. And so, you know, we kind of just like looked at like women that are like, you know, living their valuable, like their values and authenticity, women that, you know, really show up for their communities, women that, you know, that have like a meaningful and impactful meaning behind their actions. That, you know, women that have a commitment to like resources
Right.
and opportunities for like marginalized areas, but they actually share them and use them. And again, you know, it takes like a very selfless person, because, you know, a lot of times we can do things for a stage, we can do things for a tax return, we
That's
can,
right.
you know, but the simple experiences that I had myself with whips, just me as a, you know, a person who just got support from other women, it was unmatched. And I
Right.
was like, I definitely need to be involved with these guys, because if this is how they impacted my own life, I can only imagine how they impact so many other women. And so yeah, that's really it. And then
All right.
Marcia, when you just say Marcia's
All right.
involved in something, I'm in.
All right. Great. And I have a question for you because, you know, actress, journalist, NBA TV, extra, a mom, you know, you're married to a professional basketball player. Just as a mom, you know, just as a woman in professional sports, like, you know, how was, you know, your, like, what can you tell the people about this lifestyle where, like I said, you don't have to go into, you know,
As that much time you
detail.
got.
Yeah, because we don't have a lot of time. But just let the audience know a little bit of some things that maybe some pros and cons in which you experienced during, you know, your process.
Okay. I think that being a mom is rewarding, challenging, all on the same level, no matter where you're at, what you're doing. But of course, when you're in a situation where you're in the limelight, where your kids are, you know, no matter how much, whether you try to protect them, you don't, they're still kind of open for scrutiny. Like it's just really important to keep a tight family knit. And that's why it's really nice to hear about Ajay and Gisette. And I think that, you know, we have a very similar situation, and we never left the United States. So there's obviously something there in this kind of lifestyle that, you know, you benefit from keeping a really tight relationship with your children. Um, as far as, you know, times have changed and the trends have changed. And as my kids tell me now, like, Mom, you're so 2007, you know? So yeah, you know, now there's social media, and now there's
That's right.
a different, you know, a different stage and different opportunities. But I would say that, you know, the pros are, of course, you know, you have contacts, you have access to things, you know, the obvious, you know, you might get into, you know, a restaurant that others would have to wait, you know,
Right.
but the cons could be, you know, unmeasurable. They really can split up a family. They can, you know, being in that type of situation can really harm someone if, you know, if you don't keep your success and your character in line. You know, I always say, like, if, here's like a little alligator mouth. If your success just keeps going up, but your character isn't following it, that's a really, really far drop. So
Wow.
I always kind of just when I have so many young athletes that are in my life for some reason that I mentor, and that's my biggest advice that I give them. Keep your circle small, kind of like a dartboard. You keep like your 50, your 40, your 30. Uh, Keep that 50 really small, and having really solid people who tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, and that's really all I can say, because no matter what level of success, whether you're the 12th man on the bench or you're the franchise player, it's important to just kind of really keep your character in line with your success.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you. And last question. So with that being said, so a quick question, because you mentioned about even with the kids and how they handling and stuff like that. I had this summer I had did one of the biggest basketball tournaments in New York, Lincoln Park, and Carmelo Anthony's son was playing, and Lala was at the game, and he played well, and they ended up losing the game, right? And at the end of the game, from the other team, they was like, oh, we told you we was gonna beat, forget about Carmelo Anthony. They ain't say those words, but they said Carmelo Anthony. And I looked at, Lala's face, and she had got, upset, right? But one thing I like about her, and I appreciate her, and I thank her for this, because even though she had got upset, she was about to leave, and she had spoke with the coach of the team. She said, hey, Mel would like to do an interview with Cayenne. You mind? She said, you know what? Fine. What I mean? No matter. And I thank her for that, because she didn't have to. She could have just left. She could have just, handled, her business. Have you ever found yourself in that situation where, like, I don't know if your boys play any sports or anything like that, and they're like, oh, forget them because of who their father is or things like that. How do you deal with that as a mom? Like, just say if you're sitting back and you're watching.
Man, that is a major, 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 major issue in our family. My son actually shied away from playing basketball in his younger years, and he didn't even play until I want to say his like sophomore year in high school, because he is so passionate and loves the sport. But the comparison was just it was unbearable. And
Right.
father was someone who was a prodigy at 12 years old, and even baseball. I mean, TJ was on the baseball team, and I can hear parents, not kids, parents, in the stands behind me, like, oh, that's Jason Kidd's son. I wonder if he's any good. And oh, it was so much pressure for him. And so this just actually last month, we had our first annual EJK Celebrity Basketball Classic. And the point and purpose of that is because TJ loves the game. He loves the sport, but he's hidden a little bit, and had his insecurities based on the comparison with his dad. And so he just decided that, what, I love the sport, I love philanthropy, and I'm going to just, build a name for myself. And so we put together this amazing game. I mean, I honestly can't tell you how successful. Like, for the first year, we were blown away. We had Byron Scott as head coach of one team, John Sally, head coach of the other team, Eric Dickerson, assistant coach. The list goes on. So many
Right.
people were there. The Lakers sponsored, and when I tell you, his dad's name was not mentioned once, and
Wow.
not in a bad way. I'm just saying that
Right.
this was TJ's event, and this was TJ's hard work, and this is a kid who grew up in the NBA, so it's just as much your life, and you should be able to have your own path. And it's hard, it's difficult, it's never gonna end, you know what I mean? No
Right.
matter how in the clear you think you are, it's always gonna happen. And I think that you just have to like build a tougher skin,
Hmm.
and really instill in your kid how they're an individual, and that they've got their own path, their own light that they have to follow. But I
Right.
commend her for that. That's an awesome story. I like to hear
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Michelle Reed. She's in the comment. Thank you for commenting. She played with the LA Sparks, for a year. She did an interview with me, and I know she definitely she's enjoying what's going on. She's loving it, and I know definitely she want to get connected. With that being said, I want to pass the floor over to Marcia. Just tell everyone, about yourself, what you do, your role and everything. So we'd love to hear from you.
First of all, I do a lot of things, but one thing, my portfolio is sports marketing, but
Hmm.
also it's important for me on board of the Women Inside Professional Sports because I was there for day one. Because as a lover of the game and all the games, going to the World Cup
Right.
and the country are, and I to advocate for women in sports is just as important for me to advocate and protect the men in professional sports. It's a platform that not only allow women to play the game, but it's also a platform that many young women can use to find role models that are absent in their social media world. The components that the Women Inside Professional Sports present to a community, for example, this upcoming 10th year diamond anniversary, is community service. When we live in a world where reality housewives reign, we need to show that we can get together and reconcile some of our differences. And sports for men, they allow them to do that teamwork, which we see absence a lot in women's and girls' lives. This platform allowed them to see not only diversity of women in sports, whether it's the boxers, whether it's the tennis players, or the
Hmm.
women in the C-suite from NBA to the NFL or the NBA, but also some of the owners as well, like the owner from the North Carolina Courage, who will be joining us. It is a platform that we need, and also the reason why I wanted to be on this platform, as an advocate for women period through my Women's Global Institute platform. Pay equity is a problem, but not only pay equity, it's also into which I've been a season ticket holder for the Wizards. Wherever city I'm in, I'm a season ticket holder for the football and usually, definitely the basketball teams. And I know that what fuels the teams and athleticism and the winning of champions is through the engagement of spectator and fanship. And I don't see that with women's sports. So my advocacy is to make sure that women support women in sports as much as we do as spectators, the men in sports. It's embarrassing when I go to my friend Sheila Johnson's Mystic Games and I'm paying under $25 for a ticket. So how can we expect equity in the pay if the owners have to pay and the NBA is WNBA is not getting the form of sponsorships to augment that relationship? The reason why Brittany Grenier might have been in a situation why she has to go to Russia. Why do we have to play intercontinental sports, especially for the women? So I'm here as a social activist and diplomat. I'm on the Vatican Council of Sports in the country of Qatar. I'm a part of Save the Dream. But in the community, I'm also see the value of sports because education, physical education has been taken out of our school. So rather than children being able to exercise their frustration, the stress, the mental health crisis we have, and everybody knows who in therapy that exercising releases stress, but our children have no safe place to play even sports without some sort of lurking danger. So women inside professional sport is also now keeping women in the game no matter what level, but making sure that our children can be in the game in the age of innocence, which the arena of sports often provides. And did have an announcement. Swerve is a platform for fashion, arts, and entertainment.
Hmm.
And uh, fashion will converge in the Middle East, and women inside professional sports, surprise Gisette, will be part of that platform because what they're doing is global. It gives an opportunity for women in Saudi and Qatar and other places in the world, the continent of Africa, to have a platform with women inside professional sports with Swerve, a major platform out of Paris, to expediently get women to the goals to get the money that they need to play the sport, support through fans and spectatorship as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So with that being said, so I have two questions for you. What gave you that drive to want to go in this route, to fight for others? And my second question for you is that with you gave an example. So with the NBA and just say the WNBA with the pay scale, was one way, another way. Who I guess the issue, my question would be, who's really at fault with this? Oh, not at fault. Why is the gap? Do you believe it's the owners? Do you believe it's the spectators? Because I have two things, right? I always look
Mhm.
at it as that, once you birth something, there is a process, right? So it's not going to be, you think about when the NBA started years ago, right? They just celebrated their 75th anniversary, right? So it's been around a long time, and over the years they made changes to get to the point to where they are now, right? So they incorporate a lot of things. So do you think it's a thing where maybe the WNBA might have to incorporate some more things? Maybe it might get sponsors or things like that, more engaged, or do you
No,
feel like,
what
or
what
okay,
what
go ahead.
drove what drove the NBA to be as popular as it is now, and the affordability to pay the athletes hundreds of millions of dollars, right? I used to play cards with Michael Jordan when he came to Chicago, and Dominique Wilkins and Grandmama. So I go
Right.
way back up, and I want to see them protected. But what really drives it is the economics behind it of who put instilled that in the game, and it was the players. But because didn't enter into the sports into which we got that major stage like a Serena Williams and
Hmm.
now Echo or Gabby in gymnastics. So when you talk about the why the owners give them more money, because they're getting that money through a lot of the to the apparel gear, right? To Nike endorse, they come and support them. So it's going to take the women to say like, look, we need you to do the same thing. So the owners can only give what they get. So the push for sponsorships, for other strategic partnerships like they do the male league is really important. So that's kind of like what I call sports diplomacy or sports politics that we need to adhere to. That's why I would tell women, if you really want women to get the pay grade, then we have to show up and support them. We got to give them the same numbers like we do the men. We have the fan base fuse not only and energize the athletes on the floor, the field, wherever they might be. It also fuels how not the owners look, but how sponsors come in as well. And this lends to the phenomenal, you talked about mother and daughter's relationships, and I really want her to speak is the mother of Antia Deck. I mean,
Right.
what
That's one.
that, and how they're acting like they're the Ball brothers, right? And like, I was alone here, I want to say that. She's the mother's behind there, being the mom manager, and she's pushing it. So some of the problems that most women and athletes have, I commend you for what you're doing with your daughter and how you coming out the gate with your own bracelet. That song like with your own bracelets or whatever the jewelry is, but you're coming out with your own because you see, I think, and speaking to you and having your daughter on a platform that I had to create something for Facebook, that you see that, and you're not going to have this particular jewel, this particular diamond, to be mined by anybody, that you have your own equipment. So I would love for you to tell your story rather than me talking about what could have would have been. This woman is doing.
See, there you go. That's an excellent way for us to transition. So, Cynthia,
Right.
if you don't mind, just jumping right in and let's go.
No, absolutely. Thank you so much, Marcia. I feel like I totally agree with everything that you all are saying. And I do feel like for me and Cynthia, we are a mother daughter duo. And when my daughter decided that she wanted to get into sports beyond college, I knew that there was no one else that was going to manage her but me. Because being in the industry, which I was from in the media industry, and also intertwined in the entertainment industry, I knew that social media was just an evolution of media. But I knew that everything was not going to be nice, I'll put it that way. There's always this dark side. So I wanted to make sure that I was there to protect her. The one thing that I can say that Santia and I talk about a lot is the need for athletes to, make products, merchandise, businesses while
Hmm.
you're relevant. I want to say that again, while you're relevant,
Yes.
not wait until after you've retired and then you decide, okay, now I want to do something. So we decided to make sure that while Santia is popular, while she's relevant, that we wanted to not get a seat at the table, but we wanted to create our own table. And
That's
that's
right.
what we've been able to do. So, yes, for those who don't know, we are the first sneaker company owned by a female athlete, period. And because sometimes people say,
Can you say
it's
that again? Period.
a female athlete. No, she's the first female athlete, period. And we do have partnerships with the athlete's foot.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of different things that's going on in new products that we'll be releasing that's going to be pretty much mind blowing. One of them she just released and just let her audience peek at, which is a football cleat. But there's more from where this is coming from. But I think that's what's really important. Let's not wait.
That's right.
And I totally agree with you, Marcia, when we talk about the need for women to support women in sports, because it's all about, the pay scale is going to come from, are the seats filled or not, right?
Right.
If the seats aren't filled, then the pay's not there. So we see us, right, as women at all these other games that are male sports. Why aren't we filling the seats at sports for women? That's something we need to address, and we need to make sure that we are supporting our female athletes so they can get to those checks like their male counterparts. Is this something that's going to happen overnight? Absolutely not. I think is much deeper than what we have time to discuss right now. It's much deeper than that. But I feel like that is, if my message is anything today, is to, we need to support each other. That's why we're here. That's why we're part of WHIPS. WHIPS did actually, Santia was a part of WHIPS, a protege, not long, I guess it was last year. That's how we got involved with this wonderful event that they're having. And we're just so grateful and thankful to be invited in. So we're very excited to be here to support, because we're all about, being an example. So when little girls look at my daughter and they say, oh, she's playing football. Oh, and that's a male dominated sport. Oh, she owns a sneaker company.
Mm-hmm.
This is not, we don't have a deal with Nike or Adidas. Let's make that clear.
Right.
We have our own sneaker company. That's when you're able to empower this younger generation. So that's what's really important to us. That's why we're here. And we're going to continue to do everything we can to empower the youth and women, period, to go after whatever you want to do. And that's why our slogan is, if you want it, go get it. You
That's
can't wait.
right.
You got to go get it.
That's right, and that's excellent. I mean, and Marcia had to kind of reference the the Ball brothers. LeVar Ball was like one of my favorite people, from what he did to the game and how he brought his sons into, before they even started the NBA, they came into the NBA with their own brand, their own sneakers, their own clothing line. So by you and your daughter starting your own clothing line, that's a great way to think. That's a great way to get started, because a lot of things people don't realize is that, like you said, while you're on fire is the time to put it out. I mean, to put out all your things that you want to get done, because that's when people are going to support you the most. Because sometimes they might just want to be a part of what you got going on, and sometimes they really just are really just truly genuinely supporters. So I commend you for what you're doing. I think that's important in sports. I think it's important even like, for women in sports to kind of know like, hey, it's just not that the men is doing this, we're doing this as well. So that's excellent thing. So I know how you doing, Gisette? Hey. All right, so we have the founder. We're gonna get to Gisette right now. So real quick, just want you to know we listening to Mel from Queens Sports Talk on WGJSradio.com. We're here represented by the Women Inside Professional Sports. They have the annual Synergy Conference coming up in October. So we're here talking about it, and we have a few more that's going to be celebrated on this panel. So I want to pass the floor to Gisette. But before I pass the floor, I just want to ask everybody, because y'all all can answer, individually. Now that it's women in sports, women inside professional sports is out there, right? And you guys are attached, and everybody have their own things going on now, right? What's the goal now going forward to keep this push going? Because I definitely want to continue to push it in New York. I definitely want to continue to share this interview and splice it up and take some parts so people can see what's going on and what's out there. So I definitely want to get you guys, feedback on that.
Well,
So the goal is, go ahead, Marcia.
but I know Gisette, she really needs to speak. She will continue. We're not talking about just an event. We're talking about a
Right.
continued supporting women in sports. And that's what's so great about Gisette and her daughter Ajay, is that this is not a one-off
Right.
for, right? And I know that they're planning to do constant conversations online, women's side professional sports, as well as hopefully have many summits, but in the forefront. And I'm engaged with them because of their definite commitment on making sure that women inside professional sports, not only the major events, but the small events, the conversations, and the things that they're doing personally to elevate it outside of this country is simply amazing. So, Gisette, we've been holding down the floor for you, been holding the ball. So now, and give us a slam dunk on your
Yes, and you have been doing it very well. I was watching and listening from off YouTube back there going, yeah, yeah, yeah. So you guys did perfectly. You expressed yourself so eloquently, and you really really put the mission out there, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, so I know who you are,
For
and
me, we just
okay,
we just on what we're doing. Just, become better at it. Be able to reach more women, more people in pro sports that want to join us and support us. Male and female are welcome, and just to expand on our platforms. And Mel, I don't know if you know this, but Joe and I have been having a conversation of us getting our own radio segment with your media producer. So that may be in the works as well. Not only working with Marcia, on the global level, to be able to spread our wings that way, but we're looking at other platforms so that we can have a more permanent position to be able to share and spread our voices. So that's something else that we're having conversations about.
no, that's excellent, and we're big advocates of women inside professional sports. Not only that, but we advocates of everything what everybody has going on, and I would like, because I know we're gonna have a panel kind of switching a little bit, but I
Yeah.
would like for everyone to kind of just let everybody know how they can contact them, what they have going on, and how they can reach you. You want to put your website, your business, or whatever you have going on. I know Gisette, you're going to be on as well.
Yeah, so
Continue to stay
before we
on.
cause
Uh,
confusion, so Marcia and Jumana will stay on. I think Ebony is going to swap out with Cynthia. Ebony
okay,
Karen, and Ebony is from right up there with you. She's from Harlem, so she's going to talk about the community service once we transition and let her in. But you
okay,
can find out about Dimes in Sports tickets www.se5whips.com. That's se the number 5 wips.com. That's for registration to attend the 3-day event. We didn't speak about the Synergy Luncheon that's going to take place on Saturday, October the 29th at the New York Edition Hotel, where we're going to have our roundtable discussion, social equity in sports, and Marcia is leading that. And just from just listening to her, you can only imagine the type
that's
of
right.
questions you're going to throw at the panel. They better come ready to share something because Marcia's not having it and she's not playing any games. So
Oh yeah.
that's Saturday. So you'll be able to get your tickets to be able to participate, to come to our cocktail reception, come join us for community service. We're going to be working with a food pantry out of Harlem. We're going to be feeding 350 clients by building food bags for them at community service, as well as mentoring 100 black and brown girls. You can reach us on Instagram, Women Inside Pro Sports on Instagram. It's also Speak English 5 INC on Instagram. Email us at info@se5whips.com if you need to send us an email. So those are the different ways that you can reach us.
Excellent, excellent, and great. And yeah, I was speaking with Joe. That would be excellent for you guys to be a part of this team. I know definitely would continue to make an impact here in New York. So thank you so much. And so Cynthia, before we let you go, if you want to just share, not let you go, you still be a part of this, but if you want to share your information, how you can get that footwear and everything that you and your daughter have going on, and stay engaged. If you want to just share with everyone listening and watching.
Absolutely. You can find us on Instagram at Tronus, that's TRONUS official. Our website is tronusofficial.com. And on Facebook, we're Tronus Shoes. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm looking forward to hearing the rest of this interview.
All right, thank you so much, and feel free to drop that information in the chat on the YouTube. So thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right, thanks. All right, Gisette, I know Ajay kind of started out and you came in, so I mean, if you want to just kind of just reintroduce yourself, while we waiting for Ebony to come in, just let
Okay.
everybody know who you are and how
I am
everything was founded.
Gisette Lane English, the CEO of Women Inside Professional Sports. Our parent company is Speak English 5. sports communications group, and we are planning our 10-year anniversary, which is really we were working well before 10 years, but we just made it official 10 years ago. I have been affiliated with professional sports and philanthropy for over 30 years. My daughter was nice enough to say 10, but it's really over 30 years
Got that.
around professional sports. So, but I was really teary eyed just hearing her express the kind of relationship that we have. Just hearing it come from her. I view her in the same light, but just hearing her share the same expression is just so beautiful. And I know Jumana and Marcia both know what I mean when I say that. When you hear your daughter speak that way about you as a mother, it just makes you feel really, really good to know that you're not only loved, but you're also liked. Is nice. So there are a lot of mothers and daughters who don't get along. So it's really special when you can find a duo. And then that is one thing that Marcia and Jumana and I have in common. So it was just special hearing her share her perspective. But everything that she talked about was spot on. We started off by just wanting to come out of the shadow of the superstar athletes that were in our family. We had something we wanted to say and share with the world. So we started speaking to other women and found that they had the same desires. And we just started a sports column. And then our organization just developed from a sports column.
That's excellent. And I'm telling you, like there's a bunch of people watching right now that can take so many nuggets already for the jewels and the gems that's really been dropped. So once again, I thank you. And with that being said, you want to introduce
Ariane,
Ariane.
Ariane May,
We
the
thought
fundraising wizard.
When
I was going.
everyone pauses on my name,
Okay,
I know
wait.
that I'm up.
hello,
Hi.
how you doing, Ariel?
No,
Me
I was going to say, Eric, we're family. I'm in Washington, D.C. for the Congressional Black Caucus, and I have an important meeting around sports that I have to run to. And so I'm going to have to bid an early goodbye. This is what we do with this sisterhood, but here to support. And thank you for allowing us this platform.
Thank you, Marcia. Talk to you later.
Thank you for being
Okay,
a
love.
part of it. Thanks.
Thank
All right.
Bye. So is Ebony nearby? Can we let Ebony in?
She's gonna call back.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
she could call back. Yeah, just have a call. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, let's go. Let's go, Ariane. What you got?
Hey,
Well,
Ariane.
fair warning, I didn't know I was going to be on camera today. So, hi guys.
All right.
It's okay.
All right.
So,
So
Ariane, do you want to share what your role is with Diamonds in Sports?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I'm privileged to be amongst so many strong and influential women. Our founder of the foundation, I'm the director of development for, Allie LaForce. She's the lead TNT sidelines reporter for the NBA. She's getting honored. And it's an honor to be able to represent her and the great work that she's doing within Healthcare HD under this magnificent event that we're doing. So I am in charge of all the fun.
Fun. We need fun. Yeah.
Fundraising.
Right.
Gisette has entrusted me with the game room, and what that is it is a room to obviously have fun, make a difference. We're going to have a wine pool and a whiskey barrel and all of these awesome raffles and auction items and experiences that are one of a kind and just exceptional opportunities for anyone that's generous and willing to bid. But more than that, we're in there changing lives together. And so there's nothing better for me. I've been in the philanthropy industry for close to 16 years now. And there's nothing better for me than seeing a group of people come together. That's right. With the spirit of making a difference in the world and also having fun doing it. It's the best combination I could possibly think of. So I know my job is like the hype girl right now. Are on sale already. Tickets are on sale. You do not want to out. You want to be at this event. And you've been speaking to these remarkable women, and they are all going to be there. And just being in their presence and feeling their energy is a gift enough. And I truly, truly mean that. So,
Yeah, that's excellent. That's excellent. We thank you. So I mean, I know you said the fun. You do all the fun stuff. Sometimes it's not always fun. Like what keeps you going? Like what keeps you drive? Sometimes when it feels like maybe the fun might be kind of snatched away. Like what keeps you engaged and what keeps you motivated to continue to try to keep the fun. And do the fundraising and the support.
well, I've had a longer career than many in the fundraising world. I've been,
Hmm.
now I'm director of development for a national foundation, but I was director of development for a regional one for 15 years, and that's not unheard of in my industry, but the typical tenure for someone in a profession of fundraising is about 2 to 3 years. So it's true. It is not all fun. We we work really, but I can tell you that there's never a day that goes by that I don't have purpose. And I think when we're looking at events like this, from the outside, obviously we know that we're making an impact, but sometimes that impact isn't fully translated. And it's my job, for both a career and the pleasure of being on this committee, to translate both the fun to actually the ability that each of us have to change the world, and we each have a part in doing so. And I always say every dollar counts, and every dollar is a life changer. And that is how I feel in this situation, just as anything else. And that's what drives me on a daily basis. So
So,
so I still think it's fun.
no,
Only that moments where I'm like,
right. So,
but
so, so, so
I'm
when you
still here.
So when you first got started and when you were doing a fundraiser, right, for women inside professional sports, like how was the reception when you first put it out there, the feedback? Like how was people open to it? Were they like women in professional sports? Like, what do you mean? Like, did they see the vision? Did you have to convince them to see the vision? Like, were there like doubters? Like, how was the process? Because it's going on. This is the 10th year annual Synergy Conference. So that's a great thing. So it's continuing to go, and that means people are supporting, people are engaged. That means it's growing. So the beginning process, the starting process, like what was that like?
Well, I can tell you, I have not. I am here for the 10th anniversary. I've not been here since the inception.
Okay.
What I can say along those lines is, I did, for some wonderful and crazy reason, stumble into a philanthropic career working with a lot of professional athletes, and women do tend to get overlooked. And so one of the things that I have always made an effort to do is to get to know their people, their girlfriend, their wife, their kids, their significant others, whoever that may be, because they are equal, if not, have a greater importance in their career and
Mm-hmm.
in making a difference and all those things. And so while I can't personally speak to what it's like to be a woman in professional sports myself, I've worked enough in that genre where I do think that what Gisette and this team is doing is pretty remarkable. It's giving a voice, to those that deserve that voice. So, but I can turn that question back over to Gisette.
Well, I don't want to talk anymore. I think Ebony needs to talk.
Right. I was about to jump in, Ebony, because how you doing? Just introduce yourself and let people know who you are, what you have going on, and your involvement in this.
Sure, and thank you so much.
You're
Where there's
welcome.
a will, there's a way. I was having some technical difficulty, but nothing would really stop me from participating in this conversation. Um, by way of background, for the past 20 years, I have run hospitals in predominantly vulnerable communities. They would call safety net hospitals. So the organizations that care for people who are disproportionately living below the poverty level, those who experience significant health disparities, and who participate in programming activities that address social determinants, so housing instability, food poverty, and various other issues. And as a result of really wanting to stay connected to the community, I became acquainted with this organization. And because they look to find strong women with strong voices, Jazette introduced me to speed networking at one of her events. And the reach that we had with the young ladies and the commitment that they all had to better themselves and to really be open and vulnerable and to talk about their own issues and challenges just made me want to continue to be a part of the organization. And I want to say that in a celebratory mode for the 10th year anniversary of WIPS, the fact that they would want to add a community service component really demonstrates their commitment and the ability for us to be able to, through storytelling and through community service, we are going to be creating food baskets for, as Josette said, 350 people in the greater Harlem community. These girls, along with the whips who will mentor them, will be packing those bags, talking about stories, leaving notes of
Wow.
encouragement in the bags. But also, each of us are going to tell our story from a point of view of what we thought we couldn't do, how we overcame obstacles. You know, I was the youngest chief executive of a hospital in New York City and New York State, I would think. And the fact that that was in spite of being a mother, in spite of being a wife, in spite of all of the obstacles that came my way. And so people need to hear that story. I am from Harlem, and so we are looking to benefit the young brown girls within the Harlem community so they can see that it's possible, because you can't be what you can't see. And so I just think it's amazing that they would want to integrate community service into their celebration. We are giving back directly to the community, and it continues to just exemplify the selflessness that is Josette Auger and the entire community of whips. So I'll
That's excellent. Now, two things. So the first thing is that that's an amazing story, and also, so because I know a little bit about everybody, right? So when I realized that you went to school for business, right, and it was your father who encouraged you to do internship at a Harlem hospital. Is
he
that correct?
he did. He was an oral surgeon, and
Mhm.
I was very uninterested in healthcare. I wanted to do international business, actually at a corporate internship at Gap and Co. And said, there's something about you. There's something that requires a pay it forward. And so I will pay you the difference, because it was a very low paying job. He said, I will pay you the difference between what you're earning and what you would be getting from the hospital. The moment that I was able
Wow.
to feel what a hospital and all of its nuances could do for the community. The fact that Harlem Hospital is disproportionately Black in terms of its physician and nursing complement, and that they would just allow for a young woman of color to really through transition, which included COVID vaccine uptake, just very impressive. And so I credit that to my father, but also to the 3,300 employees that work at Harlem, and you know, the tens of thousands of people who receive services, and the resident community as well.
That's excellent, and that's great. And so with this, I got this last question for you. You made a statement, right? And it says, "I'm from the belief that sometimes you have to take a step back to take many steps forward." Can you speak to that
Sure,
for me and for the people that's listening and watching?
sure. I had a position in Brooklyn. I was the chief operating officer and the chief quality medical center. And while I love Brooklyn, I'm from Harlem, and I wanted to be able to have the work it benefit my community. And I was offered a job at Harlem Hospital that paid significantly and had a different title than I had. People thought I was crazy for taking what they perceived as emotion, but I was able to faith forward, see the vision that God had for me, and to ultimately understand that to put my hand to the plow in my community and to have young
That's right.
people see, and to be able to have people, you know, my nickname is Eb, and so they'd be like, Eb, hospital, you know, so
All right.
made me say worth the pay cut. And so ultimately recognition that in my executive officer, and now being able to do national ad for hospital systems, for the Medicaid program, and for women and children across the country. That was all for the pay cut. So I took one step back to
Wow.
take forward. So that was what
Wow.
that's
Yeah,
about.
we thank you, and I know people, definitely thank you because you're going to be a blessing to many people. So yeah, thanks. All right.
Thank
All right. All right, next up.
We have Blanca. She's the boxing lady. Don't fight her.
Beautiful
Don't fight
brawlers, beautiful brawlers.
her.
Hey,
Hey, I looked that
not
up.
not
Yeah.
pretty girls can box too, you know.
All right. Let's talk about that because a lot of times we think about boxing, we like, no, we want pretty girls to save that pretty face and all that. So talk to me about like the boxing and just let everybody know who you are and what you do and your involvement in whips.
My name is Blanca Gutierrez, and my sister and I are honored to be accepting an award for what we've done for the girls in the community. And it all started way back. My dad's a fighter, and sometimes girls, they don't play tennis and they don't play with dolls. Sometimes girls like to do rougher things,
Hmm.
they like to fight. Um, I started out in I actually was a stock trader for a big firm on Wall Street for about 30 years. And I realized that other girls can have opportunities. It's just out of the norm of some environments culturally. So what I did was I was able to make it there, be a sales trader, learn the financial business, and they really respected me there. I was also a kickboxer during that time, so they were able to help me out. They watched my fights. My clients watched my fights, and there was a lot of things going on in the fight. Arena that just weren't good for women or for girls. There need to be changes because they just needed to have the same, let's see, resources as a
Hmm.
men's had, have the same opportunities, and we need coaches, and we needed a lot of things to make this better for females. So because I had a good job and I had other opportunities and people that would actually help me out to try to get done what I needed to get done, I started working on a program for all females, and it wasn't just about boxing. It was about networking. It was about social media. It was about being who you are and being proud of it and being confident. And you could do other things too, but if you're a fighter, you're a fighter. And sometimes you need that extra push and other women there to be examples for you because there's been a lot of women to pave the way, and a lot of younger girls need to learn the history of that and how those women are still involved in the sport. So I created Beautiful Brawlers to give these girls a platform to showcase their skills. But it not only that, I gave them a platform to meet other women in the sport who love the sport, champions like Franchon Cruz, Michaela Mayer. There's women and champions in the sport who have really helped out the Beautiful Brawlers and been part of our journey. So we continue to work that. We have an international tournament on February 18th and 19th, and that's basically what we do.
No, that's excellent. That's amazing. Like you said, there's so many that came before, and that's good that there's so many women that can know the history of boxing. I mean, we know we hear about the men's a lot, but there's been some good women fighters over the years. Everybody knows like one of the most popular ones. Layla, Ali, and what she's done. But I do believe that that's a conversation that. Um, I guess people don't really have often, and it's good that you have a platform, you have an out, for women to come and learn skills and learn the sport, but also not just the sport, the other thing that you have to offer, as well. So I think that's an excellent thing. Um, when you started, just were you getting like pushback or like, oh, like what are you doing? Like we don't need this, even though it was active. This is because what you're doing, beautiful brawlers. Like, what separates you, from, well, not what separates you. What are you adding, to the sport, through
Well,
your program?
I could exactly answer that. The first couple times that we wanted to see girls' fights in the Bay Area, they couldn't match fights because no one wanted to take the time out to match other female fighters. So I was so like, there was a bunch of us that were fighting. You get Martha Salazar, Corinna Moreno, Eliza Olsen, Melissa Moore. There's a list. but they couldn't match sizes at the
Hmm.
time. So what I did is I was saying for the amateurs, okay, I'll do this. I'll go to every show. I'll find out who all the girls or fighters are, and I'll create a list. And I did that, and I started inviting them to sparring, and I started creating a network of just female fighters. And the thing is that when you build something with love, they keep on
Mm.
coming. And so we were building something with that was organic, with love, and with a lot of pure intentions. So we had all these girls showing up, and then we were just taking names down, and I decided, you know what, we're going to do. It was right before Clarissa Shields won the Olympics. I knew things were going to get big. I knew it. I always had faith in that. I just know how great our women athletes are. So I
That's right.
created the first show, and I remember setting up for the first show, and a bunch of guys showed up when we were putting posters up of like we had 8-year-old girls on the show. That's how you could start as young as 8. And somebody said, you know what, these girls should be playing with dolls, not boxing. So
Wow.
that was kind of like the beginning of the pushback. And the guys that saw me collecting names, and I still friends with them now. One
Mm.
guy said to me, "Are you making money by doing this?" I said, "No, I'm not making money." He says, "You know what? That's pretty stupid." And I'll never forget that. And I was like, I banned him from the show for about 4 years, and I finally decided to let him on. But I was thinking, I'm not stupid. What I'm doing
Right.
is I'm not making money doing this. I'm creating something for that future and for the future generations of girls so that they know that somebody actually cares and believes in them. And it worked.
Yes, and we thank you. I mean, that's how things get started. It's got you do it, and they see it could be done, and then it inspires others to come after and to keep it going. So I'll definitely thank you for that. Yeah.
Thank you. And then one last thing I want to say is like there's a bunch of us women out there that are coaches. I'm a youth national coach now for the Olympic for the at the Olympic Training Center with the Team USA. I don't say much about a lot of the stuff that we do, but there's females out there like me that go out there and they go beyond what they need to do and they help girls with scholarships. And we give money from our shows to girls who are going to the nationals. They know who they are and they reach out to us, and we keep everything private, but we do things so that it benefits the girls. It takes a
Right.
lot of money to become a champion, and we get those sponsors who will help some of these girls out and help them put money in their pockets for the right equipment, to train to compete internationally. You really need the right equipment. You need people to commit to you. You need a great team, and you need a good support group behind you, and we offer that to them, and we'll do it forever.
Thank you so much. Drop your website. Your social media, so people can kind of how to get in contact with you and reach you. That's
Um, you could look us up on beautifulbrawlers.com or
okay.
Beautiful Brawlers on Facebook, Beautiful Brawlers on Twitter. We're babyfaceboxing.com if you want to register for the next show. We'd love to see, we had 150 participants last time. We'd like to see even more. And come check us out. Our doors are open for everybody.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. All right, Gisette. So, now we're gonna have a few more come in, that's gonna share some awesome information. And I just want to just say that I thank everybody so far who shared the information, because not only you sharing information, you sharing a lifestyle. But this is actually what this is, and you're definitely making a difference in people's lives already. And when people listen, they're going to realize that there's so much more available to them. There's so much more out there. And I think that's the most excellent thing, because even myself, I'm getting more information. I'm being aware. There's more information that I learned today that I can, as soon as I get off, I can go out and spread and share with others, to bring awareness, because this is very important. The stories are important. The business side of it was going. The parenting side is important. All this is very important in sports.
And that's what we do. That's what
Mhm.
Women Inside Pro Sports do. We try to create platforms for all the women that are in our network to share, to let everybody know in their individual communities what resources are available to them right there in their hometown. Sometimes they're not aware, but that's what our mission is.
That's right. All right.
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you. And so I want to ask the panel right now. Y'all all can answer individually. Um, outside of just that, like, what drew you to women inside professional sport? What made you say, you know what, I feel like that. I feel that I want to be a part of what they have going on. Whoever, anybody could jump in and just, jump in. And I know you're being celebrated. A lot of you are being celebrated because of your work. So they're acknowledging, what you guys are doing in the community around the world. So what made you want to be a part of this?
I can pop on in first. I can't
Okay.
discount Gisette from this. Sorry. Not outside of Gisette. Gisette is a and she no, I truly mean that.
Mhm.
This what is created and puts out into the universe just is incredibly attractive. I have been nothing but honored and privileged to be able to serve on the committee and also represent my organization through our honoree alley. So it's just, to me, the idea of, and I think I said earlier, I never really thought that I would be working intimately with so many professional athletes and philanthropy throughout the course of my career, and I'm so grateful that that's how it's turned out. um, some of the most extraordinary women and bonds that I have seen and that I have personally come from this group that Gisette is bringing together, and you can feel the energy. So to me, that's attracted me from the second that I was asked to come forward. So
All right.
uh, nothing but grateful.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I, I would
I would
offer.
like to say, I would like to say for me, when they reached out, I I wanted, I just said, God, someone finally wants to listen to us. Like someone finally wants to talk to us, and they know how we feel. And after that first conference call, I think I was actually crying because I was walking on the beach during the conference call. I was coming in and out, and I was thinking, these women are doing exactly what we were doing for the younger girls, but it's more for the women. And a lot of times when we do things for the younger girls, no one's really doing things for us. We just are left to struggle and to, you know, do what we need to do to get things done. And it just seemed like this big group of women that were actually understanding what we go through. And I think it's absolutely incredible. And it's an honor to meet these women. It's changed everything for us.
All right.
So
I
nice.
would say that the principle of to whom much is given, much is required is really what attracted me to this. This is a group of women who has taken their considerable assets, their relationships, and could have easily just rested or that, I have a life that I choose. But they wanted to reach back to the community. They want for generational wealth, for generational, and the ability to look deep inside of into the future and into the community is such worthy work that there's no way that you wouldn't want to participate. And
That's right.
Josette's energy is infectious. Her commitment to people and to women and girls is just not only is it commendable, but it just fosters a sense of action. And so, being service oriented, there's no way that you can participate in the activities. And when you get a call from them, you so
All right. All right. That's excellent. So, just as we you transition, um, I want you to kind of speak on it because when you and Ajay decide to reach out, what are you looking for? What do you see to make you say, you know what, I like what they're doing? Like, how do you know? Like, is it something you've been watching? Is a friend that said something? All right. Thank you.
This is why we do what we do. And to hear other women return that back to me, it just touches my heart. And my doors are open to all of these women. I wouldn't close my doors to any of them because this lifestyle is not easy. And just having somebody that understands what you go through is everything. Sometimes you might not find anybody in your family that can relate to what
Mhm.
you deal with in this world. And it's not even something that I feel like I'm in control of anymore because my vision is pulling me, and it doesn't feel like work. What I do does not feel like work. So I can work around the clock, literally nonstop, and not even understand how I'm able to do that.
Right.
And I know that it's just God's calling on my life, and um, I've been through so much. I thank God for every bit of it because it's helped me become the woman that I am. I like myself when I look in the mirror. I love my life, despite of all the things challenges that I faced, because I was able to overcome them all. And I just want every woman, not just women in pro sports, every woman to know that you are worthy, and there's somebody that can connect and relate to what you're going through, no matter what it is, and you are not alone. You are never alone. Sometimes you just need somebody to say, "I see you, I hear you, I acknowledge you. You're not crazy." You know, um, God is right here at all times, right here, and not it's bigger than me. It's not about me. It's about God. God is always with us, and you are never alone. And if I can't say anything else, I have to refer back to the Lord, because I'm not in around the world in all these countries, all these different places, but we know God is. So
That's right.
just turn to Him, and you are never alone. And that's what my message is. And I feel like we should fortify each other, fortify ourselves, because without fortification, we can't go out into the community and pour back into the lives of our children.
Hmm.
So it's important for us to fortify each other and then go out and give back, and we'll be able to reach more and do more. Um, and that's pretty much it. You know.
That was awesome. And I had looked back. I know you. I had research. I see you've been a part of the community, just in partnerships, fundraisers, development for over, like I said, 30 years. So just know that your labor is not in vain. Just how the people that already involved are blessed. Just me hearing everything that's going on, what you're doing, what everybody else is doing. It's just a blessing to have. This is a side of a story in which it doesn't get spoken about enough. It doesn't get enough coverage. There's so much, and like I said, I'm gonna say it once again. There's so many jewels and gems that not only women can take away from here, but the men, because we have to support as well. And for you women to be highlighting through your careers, through your experience, through everything you've been through, to reach out and want to impact the lives of others, I just think that's an amazing thing. And I thank everyone again for, coming on to the show. It was an honor having everyone. It was an honor, meeting everyone. And I'm definitely going to follow up and kind of, keep engaged, stay in contact with what you guys have going on and share information with people who need the information as well. So, and like I said, thank you. And that partnership with WGJS, that would be excellent as well, as well soon.
So
So,
you guys will be covering Diamonds in Sports. Joe
oh yeah,
said you'll be
definitely. Yeah,
that
we'll
you'll
be
be on
there.
the
Yeah.
carpet and just social media and working the room, so you'll get some great content. So we know that we'll see you there too in a couple of weeks. So
All
thank you
right.
for that.
All right. Thank. I want to give us Michelle Reed. She had a comment I want to bring up when she spoke about not having this um when she was young. And I think that was a amazing thing because she said, "This is amazing. I didn't have this as an NYC girl growing up, and I wish I did. So proud this is available. So inspiring. I connect with all of this." and this is from someone who's been in the professional sports world, that's played in the WNBA, and for her to feel that way is just let everyone know that what you're doing is working. Because not only is she being blessed, I'm being blessed, everybody here is being blessed, but those who are going to continue to watch are going to be blessed. Those who are going to be there for the 27th and through the 29th and just follow you over the years, just continue the work is much needed and is much appreciated. I
Thank
thank
you.
everyone. And,
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
and all right, that was a great one. We made it, everybody. We made it.
All right.
All right. So, if anybody has anything they want to share, now is the time. The floor is yours. Anything you want to share, any shout outs, any promotion.
Ariane, do your thing.
Yeah, come on, Aria.
Just visit our website, se5whip.com. Get your tickets to Diamonds in Sports, October the 27th through the 29th, right there in New York City. The first 2 days, the 27th and the 28th, will be at the Wells Fargo Center. And then the Saturday, the 29th, which is our roundtable discussion, Equity in Sports, will be at the New York edition. But you can find out information on our website, on Instagram, Women's Side Pro Sports, or Speak English 5 Incorporated on Instagram. Just get your tickets and come and join us.
That's excellent. All right, everyone. Well, that was an excellent show. Thank you once again. Thank you for everyone who was listening, who were in the comment section, just adding their comments. We thank you. You were tuned in to Mel from Queens Sports Talk on WGJS Radio. So we thank you once again. Women Inside Professional Sports, the annual Synergy Conference is coming up. Just support these ladies, support what they have going on. Don't forget, drop your information in the comment section. So if you see anything in the comment section, follow, check out their website and be a part of this growth, because it's definitely going to grow. So thank you once again. And thank you everybody out there. And you know my saying, either tap in or miss out. Mel from Queens Sports Talk. Thanks.
Thank you, Mel.
All right. Thank you.
Time move here, Gary.
Talk about elevating the